Welcome to City on a Hill Gaming, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast. Let's meet our players.
Hi, I'm Grant, and I'm playing Trather Wimlin, a human fighter.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm going to be playing John Abermere, a Crimson-born human.
Peter, Bertrand Greystone, Dwarven Forge Cleric.
William R. Aarakocro Magi.
Daniel, I am playing Vatten. I am a half-elf ranger.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I am Twig, or Shem. I am a rogue bard and a Goliath.
We hope you enjoy our episode. Welcome back to City on a Hill Gaming. I am your Game Master, Ryan, and with me for this recording is Jenny.
Hello!
And we're gonna do more world building, but very particular world building.
Yes.
Maybe. So Jenny's character...
It's easier to keep it particular.
Yes, it is. That's fair. The last thing we did was we just kind of went wherever, and it worked, but this I think will get a little more straightforward. Yeah. So your character, John, is a Crimsonborn.
Yes. Which
is a replacement I made sort of for Sorcerer. And Crimsonborns are only from a certain region of the plane the game is set in, because to be Crimsonborn is, much like being a sorcerer, is not necessarily expressly by choice. And to be Crimsonborn, you have to have received sort of an infusion, probably unintentionally, of something called Crimson Energy that comes from a rift in the desert, and that rift is next to the town your character is from. So there's two things I've never done, which is flesh out that city and flesh out what's in the rift. So those are the things we're going to do now. Because the rift sounds like a place someone should go at some point while we record, and so it can't hurt to figure out what's there. Okay, so we wrote stuff down for Greyhold last time, I think. Well, okay, yes. We wrote stuff down for outside of Greyhold. For the monastery.
Yes.
Monastery.
Which was the Fenestraria.
Fenestraria, right. And Shepherd Lay.
Mm-hmm.
And the Swift Hands, which is the cleric group that originally saved John after John's parents died.
Yes.
During the sort of wave of Crimson Energy, some people did not survive, some did. And, okay, so we have the Swift Hands of Shepherd Lay, and we have the Monastery de Fenestraria, which is a desert succulent, yes?
I mean, most succulents are desert succulents, but yes, this one is often found, at least in the wild, in like, if you go to a nursery and ask for Fenestraria, you're gonna find something that's like a bunch of, they're called baby toes. They stick up out of the ground and all that.
Okay.
But yeah, in the wild, basically Fenestraria are so plants work on photosynthesis. Science time. Plants work on photosynthesis. Fenestraria has a gel inside of them that refracts light through windows in it. So it's like partly see-through. It's really cool.
Oh, at the top. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, at the top. So that gel refracts light onto the chlorophyll in the green part of the leaf. It needs this because it's mostly underground. All of the green parts of the plant are in nature underground.
Okay, and there's only very small flowers that seem to come out of it.
Yeah, and it's generally like one bigger plant with like a tiny white or yellow flower coming out of it. Looks sort of like if you sucked all the life out of a daisy.
I was gonna say daisy. It looks like a very thin daisy. Yes.
Yeah, like
there are also
skinny
purple
ones.
Daisy.
Oh, purple? I've not seen purple before. I've only seen white and yellow.
This one looks like it's actually in the wild. As opposed, because most of the ones I'm looking at are actually in like nurseries.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's a really cool looking plant.
Yeah, like I think all succulents look really cool.
Sure.
That's actually partly what I wanted to run by you for world building today. So first off, I think the Fenestraria Monastery, either, and I think either would be cool. I think it would be cool for it to be basically made out of these spires that have beautiful stained glass in the top. Can I also get like stupid pretentiously deep here and be like, the symbolism for the Fenestraria is intensifying the light of God to Earth. Because the Fenestraria plant is magnifying light from the sun, I think it would just be really cool symbolism for the Fenestraria monastery to be sort of magnifying the light of Yahweh on Earth. That's my thought on that. And then secondarily, I think other desert-based monasteries could also be named after different succulents. Like there's one large group of succulents called Semper Vivum, which means always living, which I think is just really cool sort of symbolism. Their monasteries might be based, because the Semper Vivum plant is it's shaped like a rosette kind of thing. Uses Fibonacci spiral math stuff. You can also find some that have like these ropes hanging between them, or not ropes, but like these little webs. They web themselves naturally. I think it might be cool to have a monastery that sort of looks like that, where the buildings are sort of very narrow and thin, and then they're connected with rope bridges or something like that. I might be getting a little bit silly here, but I know I'm just
dig it. Like I've looked the plan up. That is really cool looking.
Yeah, I actually have one upstairs.
Cool.
They are incredibly cold tolerant, so that might be like a little bit north of the desert.
Okay.
Or they can be incredibly cold tolerant. Mine happens to be incredibly cold tolerant, but not all of them are.
Sempervivium arachnoideum.
Yes, arachnoideum.
Arachnoideum. Yeah, it has that really interesting, like that legit looks just like a spider's web.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Fine silvery hairs joined together, the green leaf tips like a spider's web, pink flowers. That's really interesting.
It is.
Ginny knows all the cool plants. Huh. Okay.
I'm just sort of obsessed with succulents right now. I can't really be stopped.
Fair.
Because it's honestly one of the least expensive hobbies I've ever gotten myself into. Like, seriously, everyone's all like, oh, I'm spending so much money on plants. I'm just like, it's $6. I got some of my plants for $2. The most expensive one I got was $12. And then you just make more of them because when their leaves fall off, they just turn into a new one. It's a completely, renewable hobby.
As someone who plays Magic the Gathering, I understand the sort of consistently renewable expense aspect of that.
Yeah, and like, also as somebody who is into Japanese street fashion, which can be pretty expensive at times, like to see people complaining that a plant that's $5 is too expensive, I'm just like, oh my gosh, please, why are you like this?
These are real weird, but I like it.
The Semperviviums?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me almost like the inside, like how the petals are like slightly different colors when it opens. It almost reminds me for some reason of like an artichoke.
Yep.
In a weird way, it's got kind of that.
Yeah, artichokes also work on Fibonacci spirals.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
So yeah, there you go.
Math,
yeah.
We've done math and science tonight.
Yes.
Okay. I like
so
that.
Yeah,
That's
basically,
I like that.
I like the idea. How to phrase this? I've always liked the idea of the church. Or rather, I feel like at least the Anglican Church doesn't celebrate or use imagery that God gave us to bring that symbolism in.
We don't tend to focus on the beauty of nature so much.
Yeah,
creation.
In Anglicanism, we're focused really heavily, at least in the way I grew up in Anglicanism, we were focused so heavily on like the mysteries of God and figuring stuff out. I don't think we just sat back and watched and looked enough.
Sure. What's already around us.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
fair.
I personally like the idea of basing monasteries off of what God gave us, off of plants, off of like maybe even just rocks and minerals in the area. We have all of these beautiful things that we aren't necessarily using
Sure.
in ways that we could.
Okay, now I'm gonna get weird and look up Latin stuff.
All right.
Is there a Latin word for that? Oh, that's disappointing.
No?
It's not as interesting as I wanted it to be.
Unfortunate.
It's not a full transformation word.
Oh.
Like semper vivum is a Latin word, I think.
It's two combined Latin words that mean always living.
Right. Monastery is just monasterium.
Yep.
That's disappointing. I wanted something more than that.
That's what you get when you have
okay, that works actually.
Yeah, Germanic language stealing Latin.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I actually like that one better. So instead of abbey, you have abbatia. Okay, I like that actually. Because I don't want them to they don't all have to necessarily be monastery in name at least.
No, yeah.
And I don't know originally why I started off with the sort of Spanish influence of monastery day. But I'm keeping it for the second one, so that's fine.
It's also very French. It's all like it's based on Latin stuff. It's not completely out there.
Yeah, and I guess if the names are going to be based off that, this may as well be too.
Yeah.
That works. Okay, so now we have a second monastery. Very cool. All right, keep going.
All right. Do you want another monastery?
Do something in the town itself.
Town itself. All right.
Let's go to Greyhold.
Let's go to Greyhold.
Edge of a desert.
Was sort of like
giant rift, not super big area.
Yeah. I was thinking for the town's industry, probably a lot of shepherds and goat herders. Because when you're on the edge of a desert, you don't really get a lot of farmable land to make textiles with. And goats will eat anything and everything forever.
Reasonable.
So, they're not the worst.
Babies are adorable.
Oh gosh, they are.
There's a farm near my parents' house that has a handful of adults, but also has did have a handful of very small, very cute goats. I'm thinking there's also something to do with obsidian. Because I've made obsidian a theme of that desert.
Okay.
And that region, and it's partially because of the dragon, but in theory that could also be something the city has learned to work with.
Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting option. Okay.
Yeah.
That works. Okay. Okay, give me something else about the city non-manufacturing based.
Non-manufacturing based.
Let's go that way.
I can give you like a restaurant.
Okay. Like a tavern or something?
I'm thinking more like restaurant.
Actual restaurant. Okay.
I'm thinking actual restaurant. Because like taverns are kind of everywhere. I think this town would have like an actual somewhat fancy upscale restaurant.
Okay. With sort of like a very like dry climate style
menu.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. For a name, I think it may have been named after the owner, I think.
Also give me a race for the owner.
Antonia's restaurant, or just Antonia's or something like that.
So Antonio's or Antonius?
Antonia.
Oh, Antonia. Okay.
Yeah. And for race, I'm gonna say half-orc. Okay.
Got it. Okay. Because I'm muting when I type.
Okay.
Okay, so Antonia's restaurant. Antonia's a half-orc. What doth Antonia and her staff serve?
I think what they would do is they would basically take like a lot of sort of things your mom would cook at home, like stew and meatloaf and and that kind of thing, and then like amp it up and just like it's just like your mom used to make, but like richer and maybe using some spices from like way up north or way down south, like just sort of experimenting with old classic favorites.
Okay, so there's a region not far from here, and it is home to a group of oh, I completely went blank. Genasi.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they might have some like really unique spice options.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig it. And it's got a lot of like sustainable stuff,
Mm-hmm.
potatoes and
Yeah, like
the
root
like.
vegetables kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Okay. Nice. Give me something else. Give me a person of importance in
Of
Greyhold.
importance.
It doesn't have to be like doesn't have to be like a mayor or something, but someone who is well known in the area other than her, or
Okay.
other than Antonius.
Yeah.
Someone who's well known in the region.
Yeah. I think it would be the head of the town guard,
Okay, I like it.
and I think she'd be a dwarf. I think her name would be. I keep coming back to Mildred. I don't know why. It's very. Oh, you know what? Let's make her an old lady.
Okay, all right, go for it.
I think she'd have been around for a long time, like longer than anybody else,
I was
pretty
gonna
much.
say, what's old in dwarf?
Very just real old. I don't know like age conversions for D&D stuff. I have the PHB right here. I can probably look it up.
Age and maturity. Okay, dwarves mature at the same rate as humans.
Oh
They're
really? I thought they were old.
They're considered young until they reach 50 and live about 350.
Okay.
So it's sort of like roughly the same rate, but then you push past significantly.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I think
Okay.
she'd be around like 280 or something like that. Like
okay, so
high
she's
200.
way up there.
Yeah, like she's an old lady, but she still is able to kick butt when she needs to.
She's the old school home style restaurants and recipes Antonius is based on.
Yes.
She's like Antonia's like adopted grandmother or something.
Sure, yeah. That sounds good.
Respect that. Okay. What's her name?
Mildred.
Mildred. We're gonna go with okay. I dig.
We're gonna go with Mildred, and we're gonna keep her an old lady
okay,
because
make her Mildred.
Yeah.
Make her Mildred something or Mildred the something.
Mildred.
Let's go full dwarf. Embrace the full dwarf.
Mildred. I'm no good at dwarf names. I don't remember the last time I played a dwarf.
In honor of Mike Perna, let's make her a bard.
Okay.
And she's sort of like head of the town guard by way of she's the constable who talks people down.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what about just Mildred Perna? Perna sounds like a cool dwarf name.
Okay, I dig it.
All right.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
Mildred Perna. I like it. Okay, we'll go with it. Okay. Let's go just outside the rift.
Okay.
So the rift, I imagine, I need to write this down because I actually haven't figured this out yet. I would think would probably be maybe like 30 feet long.
30 feet.
Probably 6 or 8 feet wide. Like 30 feet in horizontal length.
Yeah.
And then maybe like 5 or 6 feet at its broadest point, and like it's open and constantly crackling. But like
yeah, like in its healed state now. I think when it first opened, it would have been like
sure.
Massive, like absolutely ginormous.
Well, and at this point, it's less that he's gotten it like shut, and more that he has it contained.
Yeah.
Not actually like fully closed necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig it. So what's around it?
So I think that when it did open up real big and then was like partly closed and contained, I think there would have been like red crystal scars left behind, as it were, like where the rift used to be. It's now sort of like smoothly rippling red crystal. I think that there would be in the surrounding region like multiple generations of animals that were Crimsonborn. So at this
Okay.
point, shorter lived animals would have gone through like multiple generations. So like birds in the area, like vultures, red crystal vultures would be such a cool band name for like a metal band. I say this, I don't know
because
how
the
long
generations move. So how old is John?
John's actually pretty young. I think John's about 20.
Okay, I'm gonna say it was probably John was probably like 8 or 9. Does that work?
I think John was a toddler.
You want to go real? Okay, so let's say 18 years.
I don't think John remembers his parents at all.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So let's say 18 years since it opened.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind the dragon having been sort of in exile in the desert for that long, because planning takes a while.
Yeah.
And gathering your resources takes a while. I think that's actually workable. Okay.
Yeah. And like, I also think it would have taken, like, as much as it like busted out of the rift and just like wreaked havoc, that would take energy and it would need time to, recuperate.
Well, the dragon's not from the rift.
Oh, it's not.
No. Okay. So
oh, that's right. It was going to be sucked into the rift, and
his plan was to push it through, like try and force the dragon through the rift to get rid of it.
I don't know why
I
forgot that. Yeah,
no, that's fine. I don't remember it half the time either. I have to go through the notes every once in a while just to keep up with what all I've written.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. And there's sort of like, I like the idea of like these jutting out, like sort of like the edge of a volcano.
Yeah.
Where it's like the lava rock is sort of smoothed over, but is very clearly not like actual ground.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. All right. And it doesn't like, it's not blasting like it did when it was opened originally.
No.
But it's still a little, crackly.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig it.
Oh, and I think it would smell like when you rub copper on your skin and that oxidizey smell.
Okay. Oh, like a penny.
Yeah. Which, fun fact, pennies don't actually smell like anything. It's not the penny smell, it's your oils on the penny smell.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
It's fascinating.
Huh. Weird. Okay.
Yeah. But like it makes sense because your nose wouldn't have any metal receptors. It's just like the smell of oxidization. It's just the smell of oxidization.
Okay, now that makes sense. I never would have thought about that. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird science facts time with Jenny.
Yeah, that's what we're doing instead of puns this week.
Yep, science facts with Jenny.
Science facts with Jenny. Okay, I dig it. Okay. I want the Crimson Plain to be something.
Okay. So like fully on the other side of the rift, what's it like?
Yes. I mean, I want there to be like the energy is normal there. That's a part of it's like Krypton almost, where like Clark Kent is nothing in particular on Krypton. Everyone's the same there. But when he's on Earth, it's different. So I want something like, I want there to be a distinct, like I want the plane to not just be like D&D has a lot of things like the plane of air, which is just open and kind of
airy.
And like the plane of water, which is just mostly water and sky. Like I'm generalizing, but I don't know that I want it to just be just a vast crimson wasteland.
Yeah, I was thinking like if
maybe it's like behind Selencor in terms of like technology and advancement, but there is like I don't want it to just be like a barren wasteland. Yeah.
I would think there would be Okay, so I like thinking about the way light refraction works. And I sort of almost want like the Crimson Plane to like yes, have a fair amount of red, but like when its energy comes over to our side, the light refracts differently. Like how I have blue eyes. but the blue, like, my eyes, if you were to, like, open them up and take the iris out, it wouldn't be blue because it's light refracting.
Okay.
Like how your blue or purple veins in your wrist, like the blood there isn't blue. That's just the skin refracting light differently.
Okay.
Yeah,
Learning.
I thought for a long time
Things.
that your blood actually turned blue. It doesn't. It's that's just how light refracts. It's why human beings with albinism often have blue eyes, not red, but rabbits with albinism often have red eyes because their skin refracts light differently than human skin.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Science facts with Jenny.
Yeah, we're going all in. I like it.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like, yeah, a fair amount of red, but not
just that.
Just that. Yeah.
Okay. It's not just like this barren red abyss of rock and
no
swirling nonsense.
Yeah.
And magicalness. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I do want there to be some kind of like, I almost want it to be kind of like a wave, almost like a windstorm or like a dust storm.
Okay.
Like the crimson energy kind of comes through. Like,
yeah, there is something
visible a visible quality to something happening.
Yeah, I like that, and I feel like the locals would just like plan for it. Yeah, like I've heard that like, in Afghanistan, when our soldiers would come back from that, they would talk about like the 5 o'clock windstorm, like the 5 o'clock sandstorm. Like it's just on the regular. It's so
crap!
Regular.
Almost 5 o'clock. Time to go inside.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's almost like this is a terrible example, but not terrible. Old Faithful.
Yeah,
the geyser. Like Old Faithful, legitimately, largely erupts on a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
The waves come on a schedule.
Yeah.
Like there's a consistency to the happening. Okay, no, I like that. What do you consider the locals to be like? Let's make a sentient, not necessarily bipedal, but like sentient race.
As much as we said we didn't want it to be all like red crystals and stuff, I'm a big fan of that Star Trek episode where they find a silicon-based life form.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up.
It's an old episode. Canadian Netflix has it.
Google is very accustomed to me someone asking this question, so that seems fun. I'm clearly not the first one to.
Yeah, so it's basically like living rocks.
Okay, so similar to so sort of like a
golem, but not a construct. That's just how they live.
Okay, right. Like Warforged, but not Warforged.
Yeah.
That's really
as cool as I think the lump is. I would also like them to be like, have legs or something.
Okay, can they be? Do we want to go full crystalline being, or do we want to like stick more like almost like construct, like you said, like they're made of? It is an actual physical life form.
I think it's an actual physical life form.
Okay.
That is just mostly crystals.
I think maybe not all red. I don't want there to be like a different color of energy on the plane, but there can be some variance.
Yeah.
Okay. Name them in their language. Let's name them in their language. Is there like a Latin word?
I almost don't want to go Latin here because like we've got so much Latin base in our plane.
Okay.
I'm wondering if we want to go like Slavic based.
Okay, Google Translate. Come here. I have questions because it'll just let me change languages consistently. What do we want to do? Crystal, or give me a word to translate, and we'll translate into a bunch of languages and go from there.
Facet.
Okay, let's go. I don't like Maori. I always like doing things in Maori out of curiosity.
Faska. That's Russian.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get to Polish.
Hungarian is too long.
Ukrainian.
Interesting.
Oh! I don't know how... I'm going to listen to that. Haranya.
Okay. Interesting. Where is Urdu from? Oh, that's Middle Eastern.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, that's Middle Eastern. That's not...
All right. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that correctly. Malay. Oh, Malay. It's just facet again. Okay.
I like Haranya.
That was Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Грань.
Khanya. Okay.
Do we want to change it like Haranya?
Okay.
So it's not just straight up
Spell
Ukraine.
it. Spell it the way we're going to. Like Hiy.
Oh, I misspelled it already. Heck.
Okay.
There we go.
My Slavic is that's not. Ooh. Okay, I can work with that.
Haranya. You might want to put like an apostrophe between the N and the Y there.
I almost always do with these things
Cool.
because I do that for some reason.
For the listeners, that is HA apostrophe RAN apostrophe YE.
Apostrophe. No. I don't think you can end a word. You probably can in some language. It's fine. Why not?
And why not in theirs?
I mean, hey, tell me of the Haranya. So we've described them.
Mm-hmm.
What are they about?
I think they are, as much as like they aren't technologically where we are.
Okay.
I don't think they'd necessarily need to be.
Okay. Sure.
I almost want to make them like. First off, can we make them peaceful?
That's fine. I guess the energy's not their fault.
Yeah, like that's not on them.
I can live with that.
I think like the local wildlife might be very hostile.
Okay.
So I think they might be very much about sort of like building
Preservation.
structures.
Okay.
And preservation and that kind of thing.
Okay.
I think they are probably a little bit bigger than humans, like orc size.
Okay. I'm thinking not super long lifespan.
I was thinking very long lifespan.
You're gonna go very long.
Yeah.
Like elf.
Yeah, like elf. Like basically, if something doesn't break them apart, they don't die.
Oh.
Because they're rocks.
I guess it's sort of like Warforged. I mean, Warforged essentially are just...
Yeah.
Unless you take it apart, there's nothing to...
Yeah.
Okay. I can work with that.
Oh, I think if they get sick, they get sort of cloudy.
Ooh. Sort of like the, Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like that. Interesting. That's a twist. You can see it.
Yeah.
And when you often can with people.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay.
Yeah. And you can sort of tell what general kind of disease it is by what color the cloudiness is.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's like just you can physically tell a lot about them because there's very little of them that can be hidden. They're see-through.
Sure. Sure. Give me some wildlife options.
Wildlife options. Something similar to like a bullet. Like something. I'm thinking of a particular beastie enemy from the video game Bastion. It's like this hopping, snorting thing. It is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It is a lunghead after all.
Frog-like monsters.
Yeah. But like spiky.
The enormous lunkhead named Sir Lunky.
Mm-hmm.
Dig it. Okay, so they're sort of like quadrupedal rock monsters.
Yes.
Okay. Belay was not something I was familiar with. Okay.
Oh, that's a D&D 3.5 monster that was really popular.
Okay.
I believe they are tunneling based. They look like a bullet.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
Bullet, I think.
Oh, is that where the actual... Gotcha.
Yeah.
So sort of like quadrupedal, like, rock monster. Interesting. Okay. Give me some... Oh, wait. Okay, we need a name. Okay, well, I mean, it worked for the first one. Hold on. Let me go to... What did we use? We used Ukrainian?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the Ukrainian word for quarry? Ooh.
Кар'єр.
Carrier. Facebook Messenger?
Now, depends on the kind of quarry, because I think the one it automatically translate as is like an enemy kind of thing.
Oh,
but,
sure.
A mine is Vidubavati. Vidubavati.
Видобувати.
Oh, that's a much longer word. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me do this one. Okay, I sent you a thing.
Sure.
Okay, we'll go with that. Now give me another one. Let's have two.
Another one. I think these ones could be tamed as beasts of burden. Kind of.
Okay. I can look at that.
So like bigger, about like a big cow, like a buffalo or a bison, whatever. Like they can be tamed, but it's not common. Very sort of like as much as it's like, yes, big as a cow, very like blocky and sort of squat-ish, like a squat cow.
Okay, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's do a... Okay, so that's our quadrupedal rock friends. Give me a second thing. Uh-oh, you got a thing.
I'm sorry, I just like, for a name for the beast of burden, I looked up the Ukrainian word for haul, like Haul.
Okay, sure.
Oh my gosh, it's nuts. Don't use it.
That's a lot of letters.
Yes, it is.
It's like 14. That's more than 14 letters. That's so many letters.
Yeah.
Oh.
Перетягування.
Okay. I actually like how it sounds, but that is a lot of letters. Okay, so you want the beast of burden to be a separate thing.
Yeah, separate.
Okay. I was thinking that was the... So are the
like the same thing. No.
Are
This is the second.
tameable? Okay, so they're not tameable. The other... Okay, so we need a beast of burden.
Yeah.
Beast of burden style. Can be tamed, but not necessarily. Okay, so yeah, let's go with a name for them.
We can call them nesties.
Okay.
Because nesty. Because carry in Ukrainian is nesty.
Нести.
Nest. Okay, all right. So let's do, because I had one thing I wanted to. I decided I had a character. I had an NPC I wanted to use for something. I had named the NPC. I know what the NPC looks like. I had no idea what I was doing with the NPC. I think the character is a golem.
Okay.
And I think the character is like the one person who has already gone through into the rift.
Okay.
And just kind of walks the rift. The character's name is Rahina, the Rift Walker.
Okay. Okay.
For those who play Magic the Gathering, Rahina is essentially Golos from M20. M20? I think it was M20. Golos Tireless Pilgrim, which is super cool card. And I think just looks cool.
Yeah.
Just like Golos is just like a constant wanderer of the area. So Rahina is Rahina the Rift Walker. Okay. So is someone who sort of wanders the thing. And I want Rahina to be sort of like an analogy for Paul.
Okay.
Sort of a like, who maybe is Crimson Born and maybe didn't do some good things at some point and has now made the choice to walk a different path and learn more about the Crimson Born.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to do... So that would be someone you might encounter in the Rift who isn't from the plane. Okay, so here's something we haven't done. I didn't think about this till just now. Obviously, in Selansar, in the world you guys are in, it is called the Crimson Plane, the Crimson Rift, etc.
Yeah.
What is it called there?
I'm just thinking about what our characters call their plane, and it's the material plane, so I'm wondering if they would just call their plane the material
Oh, okay,
plane.
interesting. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, like, your plane has a name that I assume, like, because we call it Earth. I guess that's still just kind of the same thing. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I found a word I do like, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the Ukrainian word for rose. Because I think they don't have to have a negative outlook on where they're from.
No, certainly
like,
not.
necessarily people like you guys would from the other side.
Yeah.
Троянда.
The Ukrainian word for rose is troyanda.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I love it, but I'm going to write it down and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I may change it later. I may come up with something else. Because I want them to not consider... Like, it's like if you're on the plane of water, you're used to the fact there's a lot of water.
Yeah.
If that leaks out into a different plane, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But in your plane, that's what's supposed to be there, so it's it's fine.
Yeah.
I want that to be how they consider. They're like, they don't see the crimson energy as a problem necessarily.
Mm-hmm. It just
Okay,
is.
do we use it as sort of a power source? Like they have like windmills that gather energy for like that turn their I mean like old school windmills like water wheels and stuff for like processing grain, but that use the crimson waves.
Okay, that's a really good idea. I like that.
Let's do like not water wheel or like water wheels, like something like a water wheel or a windmill to power simple things.
Yeah.
Like grain mills and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do one more thing, and I'll let you pick what it is from this kind of concept. Or it can be from something else in the world. I'm not opposed to that.
I wonder if some of our world leaked into theirs.
Okay.
I just don't know what that would look like. Like, what would we have that they don't normally?
Ooh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that. So...
What if it was clouds?
Okay. But they're different on their side. Right, like clouds and rain.
Yeah, like, I'm wondering if they didn't have weather systems, if it was all based on crimson energy. So we brought a little bit of a weather system in.
Now they have actual storms. And it's more of like an atmospheric thing. Like our atmosphere has now messed with theirs.
Yeah. And I think the crimson energy, because it comes in waves so regularly, it might have sort of like managed to keep it back.
Okay.
So the crimson energy is sort of keeping our atmosphere at bay a little bit. And anything that would upset the crimson energy waves would then allow our atmosphere.
They look forward to the crimson energy.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I think that would be a reasonable thing.
Or like sort of like the Gulf Stream can make its way through. Like it's just another. It's like a mountain pass. It tempers the weather, but the weather still moves. The storm front still moves through. Huh. That's never something I'd thought about. Where like weather passes through a plane or bridge. Because it's one that doesn't close.
Yeah.
Huh, okay. I like that, actually. That's kind of cool. I dig that. Okay. So there might be like, oh no, it's raining, and you guys are like, yeah, it's raining. They're like, no, it's raining.
Yeah.
This is like a thing.
Let me look something up.
Okay.
I'm wondering if there are any silicon compounds that are water soluble.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Silicon dioxide does. But silicon carbide is water insoluble. I'm wondering if some of the haranya are silicon dioxide based, where others are silicon carbide based. So the silicon dioxide people are much more concerned about the weather patterns than the silicon carbide people. Dioxide, which is water soluble. So the rain actually hurts them. Like, maybe not a lot, because it's just rain. It's not like we're making them swim. But silicon carbide is water insoluble. And of course, like, that's obviously super simplified. I'm sure there's something else going on. Heck, excuse me, my science may be wrong. But
interesting. But it's like a thing where rain doesn't affect us necessarily, but it does affect some things.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. And so for some, maybe like some villages or some people in some villages, if a system does pass through the rift, it can be a real problem for them, where everyone else can kind of just go about their thing.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem. Okay, I like that. Okay, cool. I dig that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we did some more world building. That's super cool. Okay, Ginny,
Mm-hmm.
tell the fine listeners of all the saving the game awesomeness.
All right. Saving the Game is a tabletop RPG advice podcast focused primarily on looking at it from a religious perspective. Although we have done ones that are just, silly fun. It's
Sure.
yeah, and we've done ones that are much more heavily on the religious side of things.
Sure.
We're currently doing our alignment series where we look at the alignments of standard D&D, which are lawful, neutral, chaotic, good, neutral, and evil. We just finished recording our lawful evil episode fairly recently.
Okay.
And that was an interesting one.
And lawful
it should be out by the time.
Lawful neutral and lawful good are already out, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So you can find us at stgcast.org. You can find us on Twitter at Saving the Game. You can find us on Facebook at Saving the Game. And we also have a Discord channel where you can talk about stuff. There's a lovely group of people doing devotionals on a very regular basis. I want to say daily.
Very close to it, yes.
Close to it, yeah.
We shoot for that.
Yeah. And
there's even I think there's a channel where you can leave prayer requests.
Yes, there is.
We even play 5th edition.
That's been going on for longer than.
Yes, it
that's
has.
been going on for longer than the devotional.
Yeah, I think probably longer than I've been on the channel. Than I've been on
it was
the Discord.
It was like one of the first sub channels that
it's like,
I think
hey,
Grant
can we
made.
do this? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because the community is very willing to share in those moments, and it's good to have other people willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's been nice. Yes, and you guys are also on Patreon.
We are. We do have a Patreon.
Is patreon.com/savingthegame.
Sounds about right. I think that's what Grant says at the end of most episodes.
Yes. Okay, patreon.com/savingthegame. Is there Patreon? And we are now on Patreon. Patreon.com/CityOnAHillGaming. I think. Yes. Patreon.com/CityOnAHillGaming. Check out their Patreon. Go check ours out. Special thanks to our patrons. Joanna, Ashley, and the fine folks over at the Nerd of Godcast. Big thanks to them for their donations. That's been super helpful, and we do genuinely really appreciate it. That's gonna, I think, give us some new recording options in the future that I am much excited about. Mm-hmm. And you can find us on Twitter at City on a Hill Game, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search City on a Hill Gaming. Jenny, thank you. This was super cool. We got through a lot of things.
We did.
And I feel much more comfortable with that area because it was basically non-existent. There's all sorts of, and I like these monasteries.
Thank you.
I can sort of see them in my head, and that's good. I like that. So, we appreciate you guys listening. Have a blessed day. Thanks for listening to City on the Hill Gaming. For more information, you can find us online at cityonthehillgaming.com. Email us at cityonthehillgaming@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter at cityonthehillgame. For more information on Saving the Game, you can find Peter, Grant, and Jenny at stgcast.org or at Saving the Game on Twitter. Thanks, and have a blessed day.
Silvered weapons. Some monsters that have immunity or resistance to non-magical weapons are susceptible to silver weapons, so cautious adventurers invest extra coin to plate their weapons with silver. You can silver a single weapon or 10 pieces of ammunition for 100 GP.
Okay, question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that possible in 5th edition? Can you do that in 5e still?
I literally just read out of the player's handbook for D&D 5e.
Okay.
Yes.
I hadn't seen it come up in 5th, but 5th treats everything a little differently than I'm used to.
Yeah.
But that's because all I had ever played before was Pathfinder in 4th.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, oh yeah, silvered weapons. Huh.
Yep.
Cool.
They are really used a lot more often in like werewolf-focused campaigns. Like,
okay, sure.
We are going to kill the big werewolf.
This is
in
a thing.
General. Yeah, like as the whole like campaign. That's when it.
Have you seen Beauty and the Beast? Okay. Now we're gonna go do a thing. Yeah. Except there will be less singing and probably no talking dishware. Probably. I make no promises.
Mimics though.
When I asked the group for suggestions, when I asked the Discord server for suggestions for mimics, that was one of them.
Oh.
but like it's like a dinner table.
Oh yeah.
And you think it's one thing, but it's actually like the chair instead, or you think it's the chair and it's actually the plate of roast beef or whatever is the mimic.
Oh yeah.
And that was one of their suggestions because I needed mimics for. Frankly, I don't remember what I needed mimics for. I don't even know if I've used them yet. Did I? I think I did.